Hello students, welcome to MA Pathashala. As discussed in the previous lectures, this is the course we are launching on Linux device driver development. So you have already seen our first course where we have taught you concepts of Linux system programming for beginners, right? Similarly, this is also a beginner level course. This is advanced course of Linux system programming. In the first course, you have learned what is Linux system programming, different system calls available in Linux system programming. We have written code to understand how Linux system programming works. We have also studied how system calls work from top level to low level till it reaches to kernel, how file descriptors work, how system call table work, everything, right? So the system programming what you learned is in the top level of programming in Linux. Now, after the user space, what we studied, there will be kernel space, right? So, and after that, there will be device drivers and it will be going to hardware. This is what we have seen in the very first lecture of Linux architecture, right? So, now we have completed first part of the course, which is Linux system programming. Now, what we will do is we will be start working on the real hardware. Okay. So that is where our device drivers comes into picture. So in this course, you will learn about device driver development. Okay. Now let me show you the roadmap for this course. Okay. So before learning this course, we expect students to have C programming knowledge. They should be comfortable in handling pointers and data structures. That is expected. And also you should be having some interest on learning things on the practical hardware, just not running in the code on the either our Linux PC or some simulators. We will be using real hardware. In case if you don't have real hardware, you can use simulators also. We will teach how to use simulators also. Okay. So that is basic expectation. Now we'll see course prerequisites from students. As discussed, first, C programming knowledge is expected from students who is comfortable in handling pointer structures and basic dynamic memory allocation, these concepts. Apart from that, you should also be familiar with Linux system programming techniques, which we have taught you in our first course. So if you have completed that course, you are very good to go on this course. Okay, so please don't neglect Linux system programming course. That is very much important for this course. Okay, next. After we will also learn these things practically by writing code on the hardware. Okay, so you should be having that interest to work on hardware, how low level hardware works, how assembly works, how drivers works, everything we will be seeing in practical in real on real hardware. Okay, so you should be interested in working with hardware. If you are a person who is not comfortable working in hardware, then please think about it, because this device drivers course we will completely work on the hardware. So that is the prerequisite. Okay, great. Now we will go step by step what I will be teaching in this course. So device drivers course is not a single course. It is a bunch of courses that we will be launching in Linux device driver development. First is Linux kernel programming. So when you are writing code on when you are preparing for device drivers, first you should understand how kernel works, how system calls are registered, how basically Linux kernel works, how to insert kernel modules, how to remove kernel modules. First of all, what are kernel modules, how kernel memory works, how synchronization in kernel works, how interrupts are handled in the Linux kernel, because kernel is heart of the operating system. So you should be strong in Linux kernel level development. That is the first priority, first important thing you should do before going into device drivers. So once you are good at Linux kernel programming, then we will be start working on the device drivers. Okay. In device drivers, we have selected few boards, which is one is Raspberry Pi and other is BeagleBone Black. Okay. You can have any of this hardware, but we will be using most of our examples on Raspberry Pi, and sometimes we will show BeagleBone Black also. So as an engineer, for example, if you have written or you have compiled one cross compilation related to one particular ARM board, it's your job to do make it run on other hardware also, because we cannot teach on each and every hardware, right? So that is where our embedded engineers come into picture. So one OS we have written in our practical side that is working on Raspberry Pi. Same thing if you port onto BeagleBone Black, it might not work. So you should be in a position to, at least you should have that interest to debug that things and get things worked on different platforms. Because once you go into industry, it's not like you will only work on one target. New targets will be coming and you should be able to port your features. If not, you should develop new features supporting that board. Okay, that is the idea behind this course. So on one board we will show you in detail and make things work. So you should be in a position to apply that knowledge to make things work on other hardware. Okay, so that is what we will learn in this course. Nice. Next. Next part. Now you are comfortable with a Linux kernel of, if you complete the first course of Linux device driver development, then you will be good in Linux kernel development. Second course of device drivers is we will go into hardware architecture. We will introduce you to the drivers, what is virtual file system, user space and kernel space, and different driver types available. We so we will discuss on these concepts in detail before going into driver development. So after this, you are comfortable in, you will understand what is device driver's role and different types of drivers available, when to use character driver, when to use block drivers, when to use network drivers, and different protocols available like UART, I2C, SPI, how to use them. These concepts we will discuss in detail in second part of device drivers course. Okay. First part is kernel development, second part is introduction to device drivers, and third, we will start writing actual drivers. First and easy driver to learn is character device driver. Okay. For our keyboard, mouse, these work on the character driver concepts. Okay. In character driver, we have few concepts like device identity and the operations and registration of our kernel when new device comes, and user data, how to transfer user data safely. Basically, there will be concepts like copy to user and copy from user, and how to register our driver. These concepts we will discuss in the device drivers part of third part of device drivers course, which is character driver essentials. Okay, so after you complete this course, now you are confident in Linux kernel development. You know what are device drivers and types of device drivers. You have knowledge on the hardware architecture, which we'll be using either Raspberry Pi or BeagleBone. Next, you have also developed character driver, which is in practical, you have tested things on your device and make them work. So by now you are comfortable at least at a beginner level on device driver concepts. Okay. After that, we will skip remaining drivers like block drivers, Ethernet drivers, network drivers. This we will be covering in the intermediate course. For now, we will stop as you are a beginner. Okay. Because as a beginner, our intention is to teach you what are different concepts available in device driver development. So when you give interview as a fresher for your embedded engineer roles, you can tell like I have knowledge on these concepts, this means this. Or if they ask what is device driver, you should be in a position to tell them device drivers, types of device drivers available, and at least able to show a basic driver working, so they will be confident, okay, the student has learned things practically, so he can cope up with our work. So that is the concept. We are trying to touch each and every part at a basic level, so you will get hands-on. Okay, next. In intermediate and advanced courses, we will write multiple block drivers and network drivers. As a beginner level, I will stop this course to character driver. Okay, great. Now, after that, one more thing that what we hear constantly in our embedded development is cross compilation. Means you have Windows machine, you have compiled a binary for ARM target, ARM Cortex. Okay, assume. Now, this file, when you flash into ARM Cortex machine, you should be able to run it. Then only we call things as cross compilation as successful. So, in your Windows PC, using a tool chain for ARM machine, you will be generating a binary for ARM machine, and you will flash that ARM file into that particular target board and you will run. So this process is called as cross compilation process. In that, our main thing is toolchain setup that we will show you. After toolchain setup, I will show you After toolchain setup, I will show you about cross compilation and these techniques. Then we will proceed further. This is how you will be using cross compilation concepts in your embedded systems, and we will see them in practical. Okay, next. After cross compilation, understanding of cross compilation, I will show you what actually embedded Linux is. Till now, the Linux you are using is in your Ubuntu PC or Windows, I mean, as virtual machine or something, right? That is one kind of Linux. But when coming to hardware, either on BeagleBone Black or Raspberry Pi, or in real, there are multiple real-time boards. For example, if you are working on in any Android development or any way, you should be working on the real processors, right, which supports embedded Linux. So in that case, you should be able to understand what is this embedded Linux is, how it is different from normal user Linux and embedded Linux. And in embedded Linux, you will be hearing about bootloader. Basically, U-boot you will be hearing. You should know concepts related to bootloader. You should understand how actually kernel works in embedded Linux environment, and also you should be able to understand what is the root fs. We call it as root file system, where we will be using some things like BusyBox. This is extremely used in our development. So if you are planning to enter into embedded domain roles in Linux, BusyBox is one expected skill. So I will teach you how BusyBox actually works, how we can configure our root file systems, bootloader, everything we will be discussing in embedded Linux part. Okay, so till now, I have shown you kernel development, introduction to device drivers. We have written character drivers, and then we have jumped into the embedded Linux stack. We understood cross compilation. After that, we came into embedded Linux stack. Okay. By end of this part, you will be in a position to understand things related to Linux device driver development at a beginner level. Okay, so if you complete all these series of courses, you have successfully learned what is device driver, how to register a driver, and how to notify kernel when a new target is attached, and how to build our own embedded Linux systems, how to create our own bootloaders, how root file system works, everything. So by end of this course, you will learn what a beginner embedded engineer should learn before entering into industry. So if you have completed these courses in sequence like we launched, then you are very good to go to attend some beginner level jobs on embedded domain in Linux side especially. Okay. After this, we also have courses where we target mainly on connectivity domain, where I will teach you about Bluetooth, NFC, Wi-Fi, this driver level development. Because the difference is like if you take any ESP32 board or STM32 board, you will only write top level programming, like, or you can send some sensor data to cloud, receive some commands from cloud, and protocol MQTT, pub sub, this creation, these things. But in reality, assume you have a Raspberry Pi. Your Raspberry Pi is real time OS. It's a kind of CPU where it has own stack, drivers, everything. Your Raspberry Pi is searching for a Wi-Fi and it is connecting to Wi-Fi, means at lower level there is some kernel operations which are related to Wi-Fi that are running. So that is the reason you are able to connect Wi-Fi on top. Most of the people will see only top level applications, but as an firmware engineers, that too on Linux side, when we are working at low level, it is our job to develop such firmwares. And also, if you enable Bluetooth, assume from top as an application, internally it will be passing multiple layers. It will be going through kernel, and then it will be registering our Bluetooth node, and Bluetooth will be advertising. This is the sequence of steps that we'll be having, right? So as a kernel level engineer, you should be able to understand that low level knowledge. So that is the aim of our next courses, where we will launch on for intermediate students on embedded systems, where we will teach you about different connectivity stacks development. We will write complex protocols of I2C, SPI, and these things also we will write. We will develop our bootloaders. We will also develop our own file system. And then after that, we will launch some advanced courses where you will be learning about embedded Linux in depth. Like you will be learning about Yocto, which is and BusyBox, this kind of technologies in advanced courses. So I request all the students, please take our courses in detail, step by step, and don't miss any concepts. And also we will be giving you some practical exercises to do on your setup also. Okay, so like this, we will be covering both theory and practical concepts in detail. Okay, so that is the aim of this course, students. If you have any doubts, please post in the comment section and I will be getting back to you at the earliest. Okay, thank you.